Hello, I am Lionel Romain, CEDAC's Director of Housing for Central and Western Mass, and I'm here today with Laura Baker, Real Estate Project Manager for Valley CDC. Laura is joined by Mark Follett, who from Western Builders, who contracted to work on the Sargent House project in Northampton. And we are all here to discuss the importance of working with minority-owned businesses during the development process. Welcome to all.
Thank you.
Let's start with a quick synopsis of the development project that Valley CDC has been involved in 2020.
Sure. Valley had a couple of projects underway in 2020. One that we're going to talk about today, the Sargent House, was completed its construction and leased up during the summer of 2020. Sargent House was a renovation as well as new construction of 31 small studio apartments with supportive services, and serves a range of tenants, including folks who are formerly homeless, as well as other low to moderate income tenants. We also did the planning and permitting for a similar type of development that we hope to construct next year in Amherst. And we secured financing for a 33-unit affordable senior housing development that will be located in Sunderland.
All right, so this project was developed by Valley CDC in partnership with Wayfinders. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about CEDAC's relationship with this project and the role that our pre-development financing played in moving it forward?
Sure. Well, I always consider CEDAC's funding to be essential to the work that Valley does. And that was certainly true at Sargent House. We were able to use the initial feasibility loan very early in our planning to look at just conceptual plans for how the project might lay out. We were fortunate to access the Keene Planning Grant to kind of further some of that due diligence work we need to do to figure the project out. And then we moved along into a pre-development loan from CEDAC, and that really gave us the money that we needed to develop architectural plans, engineering plans, due diligence, to be competitive at the state level to secure the capital for the project. And then once we applied to the state for capital, we really relied on the support and advocacy of CEDAC so that we could get funding for the project. And we were very fortunate to be able to apply for that money and get funded on our first application, which doesn't always happen, but it's wonderful when it does.
Well, thank you for that feedback. Valley CDC has been exemplary in terms of working with minority-owned businesses at Sargent House. Can you discuss why it was important to you to work with minority-owned businesses?
I can. I think there are two main factors. One is that Valley it's a grassroots nonprofit organization, and our mission is to support underserved groups. So we're always looking at ways to reach out to people who might need some economic support. We run a pretty active small business program, so we're connecting with a lot of small businesses in our region. And then several of the funding sources for Sargent House really had it as a goal for the developer to meet certain utilization standards for minority businesses. And those funders included CEDAC and the Massachusetts Housing Investment Corporation. So we were trying to reach up to hit those goals that they had set for us.
All right. Thanks for that response. That leads me to the next question, which is actually for you, Mark. What are the most important ways that Western builders work with and supported minority contractors throughout the bidding process and beyond?
So we worked with state and local lists to find who the MBEs were in the area. We reached out to them and kept a comprehensive list of all interested subcontractors through the bidding process. Once we were awarded, we took those with the best prices, met them on site, reviewed the scope with them, reviewed the schedule with them, reviewed required workforce with them, really making sure that we didn't want them to fail. We then went under contract with them. Throughout the project, we would help them with their billing and paperwork. Any change orders that were needed, we'd help them make sure that they got all the information that was needed to help the owners review and justify or reject change order. But all in all, the project went great. We were able to not only meet the MBE goal on the project, but actually exceed it. And I think by working with, in conjunction with the owners and getting payments on a timely schedule, we at Western were able to issue bi-weekly payments to the subcontractors, allowing them to keep cash flow and allowing them to keep at ease of operations and their workforce and keeping the jobs on schedule and on time.
Well, thank you, Mark, for walking us through this process. The next question is actually from both of you, and I'll start with you, Laura. And the question is, what advice would you give to other housing developers and helping them work with minority businesses?
Sure. I mean, I think the key ingredients really are having an owner that is dedicated and committed to the goal, and then having a general contractor that's also dedicated and committed to the goal. And I think there is a premium in terms of cost and time that goes with using a lot of small contractors, a lot of MBE subcontractors. And so having a good sense of reality about what that cost and really is, and then being willing to dedicate both the financial resources and the time to make it happen. Mark talked about the fact that his organization basically fronted some money for payments to subcontractors to keep them afloat. And as the owners group, we also put aside some of our construction budget in the form of an allowance to help cover the differential when there was an MBE sub that might cost a little bit more than another subcontractor. So that's the financial end. And then I think the labor end really fell with the general contractor to do the extra help one-on-one with the MBEs to make sure they could keep up with what's a fairly sophisticated level of paperwork that's happening in these types of projects.
Well, thanks for that insight. And Mark, I don't know whether you have anything you want to add to that.
No, not really. Laura kind of nailed everything on the head with it. It's a collaborative effort, I think, from the owners group and the GCs to just make sure everybody's successful and keep things timely, which I believe we both did on this project.
Okay, do either one of you have anything to add or anything that we missed?
Well, I think that, I've worked in the construction sector for many, many years in Western Massachusetts, and there has been a perception, I think, that it's not possible maybe to meet some of these MBE goals. But at Sargent House, I learned a lot about the fact that it is possible, but also what it takes. And I would say it takes an early and often and frequent approach to really be able to meet some of the goals, but it can be done.
Thank you. Mark?
Nothing to add. Laura's been instrumental in getting all the information out.
Well, thank you both for taking time from your busy schedule. And we appreciate the work that Valley CDC and Western Builders do. And we look forward to future collaborations with you.
Okay. Thank you.
We look forward to it. Thank you, Lionel.